I'm so happy. I'm always happy to see your faces, looking at the screen. And so welcome to the few new people that I don't know. We're going to start with, as usual, with a guided meditation. And we're going to do some breathing this morning. So I'd like you to pause and take a deep breath and place your feet flat on the floor. Really feel your feet in contact with the ground underneath you. Now place your hands on your stomach and take 2 or 3 deep breaths, noticing your stomach rising and falling with each in and out breath. When you feel comfortable, close your eyes. Now, as you keep breathing deeply into your stomach, I'd like you to breathe in for a count of 5, then hold your breath for a count of 5, and breathe out slowly for a count of 5. And then keep breathing in for 5, hold for 5, out for 5. In, hold, out. Continue. In. Once more. Great. I'd like you to now slowly bring your attention back to the room, noticing the sounds around you, and begin to open your eyes. How do you all feel? Are you back? Hello. Okay, can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
I see nods, so I'm assuming yes.
Yeah.
So we have a topic for today, age-defying. So I was thinking about that. What does age-defying really mean? And it kind of, to me, means that somebody or some group or some cosmic, wisdom thought that there is an appropriate age for this, that, and the other. And so if you don't do that at the appropriate age, you are age-defying. Well, obviously, here in JourneyWoman, we're age-defying all the time because I don't think there are rules. You are the age you are, and you do what you love to do. So I'm curious, what is the worst assumption that someone has made about you as it relates to your age? And how did you counter it? So I'm going across the top of my boxes. Karen, let's start with you.
Actually, I can't think of anything. Nothing at all, no.
That's wonderful. Well, that's wonderful. Well, okay. And then I'll move on to Joy.
Well, I guess several times people have said, when I'm going alone, you shouldn't really be doing that. It might be dangerous, all of that crap. And when Mike was alive and I was going off on my own, women would say, oh my God, your husband lets you do that? And I said, well, he didn't really have a say in it. He spent his whole life traveling for his company. And he says, go for it, do what you want. But there's also a thing about dress. You're not supposed to,
Yes.
You've got to dress according to your age.
Right.
If I was to buy things according to my age, which is 87 this year, what the hell would I be wearing? What would I be wearing? Honest to God, I mean, you've got to dress, you've got to wear what you want to wear, whatever you feel like wearing. I mean, just because I'm that age doesn't mean to say I want to be that age. I'm young. So I'm going to dress exactly as I want. But that dress thing is a thing that comes up a lot.
Very interesting. Especially to me as a costume designer. Yeah, very, very interesting. And then the traveling alone part, I think, is something that comes up a great deal. Let me go to Joanne.
I think some of it is I'm 72, and if people ask me, especially people that I've known for a while and don't know, they always say, well, you don't look 72. And I kind of think to myself, well, yes, this is what 72 looks like. I mean, what did you think I was going to do? And so that always annoys me, which kind of ties into what Joy said about how you dress and the way you wear your hair and makeup, or, those kinds of things. This whole assumption that somehow we turn into these wizened old crones, once we hit 65 or whatever. And so I just believe, as Joy does, you do what you want to do. You enjoy your life as best you can. You put up with the aches and pains and keep going.
Yeah, there are so many images of older people in the media. There's a commercial out right now for home care, and they show this little, I'm using a cliche, little old lady with, white hair and hunched over, and a young person helping her, and the old lady says, well, I'm in my 80s and I need someone to care for me now. And again, not to denigrate anyone at any age who needs assistance or care, but I looked at that person in the commercial and I thought, I don't relate. I'm the same age as they say the person in the commercial is, and I don't relate. So, but God bless the ones of us who are fortunate to have good health. And yeah. So Mary, how about you?
I think, well, the thing that stands out the most is when I took the motorcycle trip cross country and did it when I was turning 60. So I was a passenger on a 2-week motorcycle trip, and a lot of my friends and family, just thought, why are you doing that? And I said, well, why not? And at the time, with someone that I trusted his motorcycle skills, and it was a new adventure. And, it was one of the most liberating trips of my life. And, I had my leather jacket and, I looked like a biker chick, and it was fun. So.
I love it. I love it. I want to see pictures. I want to see Mary the biker chick. I really do. Sandra, what about you?
Well, I grew up with a mother who thought she was Peter Pan, and she never grew up. And even in her 90s, she still thought she was a teenager. So I had a wonderful role model. And as it was said before, people would say to me, you don't look your age. But my answer to that is, well, this is what 70 looks like. So that's the response I get. And also about the dressing, I grew up in New York City where everyone is very individualistic, and then moved to Canada where people more or less want to look or do what their neighbors do. And so I'm always the odd man out in terms of what I wear. because I wear what I like, and it may be what a 20-year-old wears or 40-year-old, whatever they say they wear. I just wear whatever suits my taste. And so I definitely get comments on my clothes that, maybe they're not age appropriate or Canadian appropriate, or whatever the word is. But I still feel like I don't mind standing out. I should have worn one of my crazy sweaters for this conversation. But I always stick out in a room, and I do not mind it at all. And then in terms of the age thing, I'll go with my mom, who said, "You're as old as you feel."
Yeah. How lovely to have a mother like that. I do know I grew up in Toronto too, and I think some of it is generational because, my mother kind of took me shopping twice a year. This is when I was a, young teenager, and we had appropriate things for, daytime and an afternoon dress and this and that. And then when you got to be a little older, it changed a bit. And, so it's very much that, it's the same thing with the white shoes after Labor Day. I don't know if anyone pays attention to that anymore, but there were a lot of rules in Toronto. I remember that. So Martha.
Hello, everyone. It's my first time. I get a lot of your emails, and so it's good to be here. My mantra in life is you're limited by your imagination. And I've been traveling on my own for probably a good 45 years. I'm 74 now. And I travel a lot in Southeast Asia. And what I find the most annoying, and I've been finding this since I was in my 50s, is the assumed feeling of helplessness. Now, some of it is culturally driven. For example, not so much anymore because the youth of all the countries are obviously changing. But many years ago, young people would treat all elderly people or older people with reverence. But I don't like it when people help me out here. And I certainly don't like being helped out of boats or being, having my hand patted, there, old lady. Anyhow, most people back off when you tell them to back off. So it's not a big deal.
Yeah, interesting. There's a fine line between respect for the elderly and looking out for something they might need and being patronizing. Mm-hmm. You say, yeah. And then Kavita, am I saying your name right?
Yes, you are. Thank you so much. This is actually my first time as well. And I know Carolyn, and I'm really pleased to be here. All you amazing women are so inspiring. I think, the worst assumption that's probably been made about me is that you can't start a new career, you can't do anything new at that case, it was in my early 50s. And that was the assumption because, I'd been in the same career for over 25 years and I did well, but then it was like, I wanted to do something different, but the assumption was, you can't do it. You've been doing the same thing your whole life and, you're not qualified enough or whatever. So I think that happened about 5 years ago. And since then, I've defied that. I've, completely changed what I was doing before. And
what is your new occupation, shall we say? What do you do now?
Yeah, well, I'm an entrepreneur and I actually have a business and it's called Power, Purpose, Play. And the intent is to actually help women in midlife to rediscover themselves. So that's why I'm so inspired by this conversation.
Perfect.
Yes.
Good for you. Good for you.
Thank you.
Deborah.
Thanks. I just wanted to mention, Diane, I've been noticing your cat in the background.
Oh, is she? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Staring out the window, too. I just love cats. But I have a slightly different perspective on all of this because I survived a stroke at age 37 that left me with some considerable mobility impairments. So I have to deal with the aging standpoint as much as I did the, oh, she's a gimpy girl, you know, let's, you know, what is she doing all by herself, you know, and you know, should you really be traveling alone, you know, or, okay. And about the, you know, people automatically wanting to jump in and help. At first I was a little miffed by it because I want to be able to prove to myself that I can manage on my own before I accept help from others. But I've aged, I realize people aren't trying to be patronizing. They like to feel like they're doing a good deed, that they're doing a service. And I learned to approach it from that mindset. And now, as you know, different automobile accidents, injuries, illnesses, additional medical conditions have heaped on top of the stroke survivor deficits. I'm actually kind of grateful for the help. Has worked to my advantage in that times I'll be seated alone in a restaurant dining. I'll ask for the check at the end of the evening, and my server will tell me it's already been taken care of because some famous person saw me, and because I don't know who it was, I don't know whether they felt pity, like, oh, that poor little lady is dining all by herself, or whether they felt admiration, like, you go, girl, you just get out there and do it. You know? So I really don't know what the motivation is, but I love getting the free meals. Just it happens at least once. You know?
Well, I think we could do a whole session on dining alone. I mean, that is such a
that's a touchy subject.
Because I'm quite comfortable dining alone, but I do remember on one little vacation I took a beach vacation, and I was sitting having dinner alone, and I was dying for someone to say, why don't you come and join us?
And I will just add that one of my travel mantras comes from a song called Middle-Aged Blues by Sapphire, the Uppity Blues Women. And there's a line in the lyrics in the chorus called, age ain't nothing but a number.
Yes. I love the Uppity Blues name.
Sapphire, the Uppity Blues Women.
I love that.
I just want to throw in an Evelyn Hannon in here. When she started out and she was traveling alone, one of her secrets was she would carry like an English newspaper with her and leave it folded on the table. So wherever she was in the world, people would know she speaks English and might start up a conversation.
Oh,
good idea.
Jackie, I don't think Hi.
This is probably my second call. I identify with the clothes considerably. My daughter, who's in her 30s, will tell me when we're shopping, Mom, you can't pull off that look. You're too old. And I get upset. But the thing that upset me the most was at work. I've since retired, but at work when I was in my 60s, I worked mainly with younger people, and they would assume that I didn't know how to use computers or computer programs. And I had been using computers from my early 20s. Before the PC came out, we had computers at work. And I would get angry at that. And I probably shouldn't have been angry, but it just really riled me up because I could learn a computer program as faster than they could. And they would assume I needed to be taught every time.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I once told a Mac salesman who was being, I thought, patronizing, that I was using a computer before you were born, which is true.
Yeah.
But a lot of older people have not really, they talk about, computers like it's something that hasn't been around, and they have been around quite a while now. So
even I found that among some of my even younger colleagues who would say they were afraid of learning something new. And I thought, you're giving us all a bad reputation.
Exactly. It's never too late to learn something new.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Eleanor. I don't
Is
see
that
you.
me?
Well, Eleanor Liebman is the name on the
hi.
screen. I don't see you.
Yeah, I don't have my video on.
No problem.
Yeah, this is interesting. I'm just thinking that, sometimes I put the stereotypes on myself in a way, but on the other hand, there are some sort of realistic questions. I'm in my 70s, and there are things that I want to do. In some cases, I never had a chance to do them when I was younger. And I asked myself, well, is this worth it? Because, if I want to learn languages, for example, such an effort, should I still be working at this? Will it amount to anything? Who knows what tomorrow will bring, kind of thing. So, sometimes I go through those, and I have to answer those questions too, as well. And, and they're usually answered, I think, in the positive way, that whatever I do, if this fulfills me and gives me something, and adds to my life, then I will do it, and not, and try to live more in the moment.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Now, there was one other person who I saw, but now I don't see. Have I visited everybody? Is there anyone who hasn't spoken? Oh, Martha. No, we talked to Martha?
Yeah, Karen?
Yes.
Karen, you spoke. Okay. How quickly I forget. Yeah, I spoke. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I relate to everybody. One quick little story about clothing. I have been known to buy, I love to wear dresses, a dress in a junior store, but then I always have to add a border around the bottom to make it long enough, because I don't think I want to show my knees. But then when I order from a, quote, age-appropriate source, the dresses are too long, so I have to shorten them. Anyway, what I find is very often people, when they consider my age, they say, oh, you do too much. And I don't understand that, because, I see a nodding head. Yeah.
Oh, God. Crazy.
So they want me to do nothing but watch daytime TV and maybe play a game of cards here and there. And to me, doing things just is natural to living. So that's where I find that people are kind of projecting onto me the way they think I ought to be living. So thank you all for your answers. Those were fascinating and covered so many good things. I'm going to swing a little bit to the opposite and say, are there any aspects of travel that you feel are actually beyond your capabilities at your current age?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Joy, go ahead. Yes.
Well, Amanda's trekking in Patagonia right now, and I'm really with her in spirit, but I know that I'd love to be able to do something like that. And one of my goals is, been on my bucket list forever, was to do the coast to coast in England. It takes about 2 weeks to walk across England. And I still want to do that, but I don't know whether I should or not. I don't want to get ill while I'm doing it, at my age. And that's me. That's That's me that's saying that I'm limiting myself. I don't know whether I can do it. And it's still written down there on my bucket list. I really want to do this walk across England and, put my feet in at Robin Hood's Bay and, start by Liverpool and do the trek and take my time and have somebody take my bags to the next hotel. I really want to do that, but I don't know. I think I'm telling myself that probably I shouldn't do that. I think if there was a group of women who wanted to do it, I'd say, oh God, let me join you. Yeah. I don't think it's something I should do on my own, even though I do solo stuff. I would need somebody to show me the way to do it, and I would tag along. Yeah. So that's me. I know I'm limiting myself, but it's still written down there. And
possible.
Yeah, but I can really relate to what you say you do too much. Because I bet people say that to me once a week at least when I'm working in the garden or shoveling soil onto the garden. They say, should you be doing that at your age? Shouldn't do you take a rest or something? Well, I do rest. When my body says rest, I rest. But the rest of the time I'm busy. But that's my answer.
Yes.
I ain't done yet.
Maybe you can apply that when I need to rest, I rest to your walking tour across England.
Yeah, maybe I
when
should.
You need to rest, you rest.
Yeah, except I don't want to get lost. I want to stay with the guide.
Well, true.
Lost in this country, so to come and send a search party out for me.
Well, England's a small country.
Yes.
They'll find you eventually.
Yeah, at least I speak the language. So.
Yeah. Karen?
And no, it's interesting. First of all, I don't tell people my age, and I'm very fit and agile, so it really doesn't come up that much. My children are great travelers, so when I mentioned I was going to Mexico last month, oh, great, Mom, go for it. So, I mean, I think if you're around a lot of negative people, you need new friends. And this is one of the reasons I love JourneyWoman. We inspire one another.
Yes.
We really encourage one another. Yeah. If I had a lot of naysayers around me, I think I would just have to not pay attention to them because they just sort of, they don't inspire you. And people will say, I really want to gear down. Well, why do you want to gear down? I want to keep gearing up. Thank you very much. And anyway, so I don't have sort of anyone around me who discourages me. They encourage me. I mean, they say, great, go for it. Wish I could do it, but they don't. I'm not a trekker and a big walker anyway, so that's not something that I really aspire to. Yeah. So I have really good people around me who love to do things, appreciate what I do. I never really get any negativity that I pay any attention to anyway.
Yeah, fantastic. Joanne, what about you? Is there anything that you feel is beyond your capabilities now? And are you okay with that?
Yes and no. I do have a bad knee, and so far I've been avoiding knee replacement surgery. So there are certain things like hiking, or my sister lives in Calgary, so we used to go hiking in the mountains. So that I can't do anymore. But that's okay because I have the memories. But during COVID, I gained some weight and I let my health go because I wasn't out and going to the swimming and doing all kinds of things. And so I've got a trip planned for the month of June. I'm going to be in France on my own for most of the month. And I want to do walking along, the towns and villages. And so I thought, I'm going to hire a trainer now that we can get together. So I have hired a trainer, and we've just started, and I'm never going to become a skinny little athlete again, but I can certainly, get my stride back, and so I'm going to do that. And I just figured it was a good gift to myself. So
absolutely, hats off to you. Hats off to you. Really wonderful, wonderful. Mary, what about you?
Well, I recently had knee replacement in November, and so I'm adjusting to the healing process, which I know will be different once I'm healed. So yeah. I'm a little impatient right now because I feel worse than I did before the surgery, but I had no pain before the surgery. So it's just a matter of knowing what I need to do in order to safely continue to heal. So I started physical therapy. Well, I'll start physical therapy again next week because I was only in therapy for 8 days. So I think that will make me feel a little bit more comfortable to be able to travel because it's not really comfortable sitting for too long. And I walk differently now, and I want to be able to walk so that I don't impact other parts of my body. So right now, that's the only thing that is limiting me. In my mind, I'm where everybody else travels because I want to go so many places, but I want to do it safely. So good.
Do you have any friends who have had the same operation? Because I live in a community of people over 55, and half the people here don't have their original knees and hips, and the results are amazing. So if you have any support and encouragement from people who are already healed, that could help.
I do. And I hesitate to tell too many people because they want to tell some of the horror stories, and I don't.
You want to avoid those. Definitely avoid the horror stories.
I'm out. But I'm doing good. Good.
Kavita, talk to us about what you think you look so young and vibrant, but there again, I'm projecting on you.
I think there's fears at any age, right? So I was just thinking about that, and we're going to Costa Rica in the beginning of March, and I've never been ziplining, and that scares me, but I think I'm going to do it. So I truly believe that. I was going to ask that question: is how do you find the courage to do the things that you really want to do? I mean, that's a question back to you, I guess.
I mean, that's a very good question, isn't it? And anyone here can. I think I don't have the answer to that. I think we've all been afraid of things. I think it's a two-part. One part is getting the information you need to know that it's, technically it's safe. Mm-hmm. And then it's just the willingness to push yourself, to try something. Mm-hmm. So to jump off a bridge on a bungee cord, just to prove you can do it doesn't make any sense unless you know that it's safe and that you want to do it.
Right.
But,
I guess that kind of can be applied to life in general, right? If you're afraid, yes, you just have to kind of take the first step and do it. And then once you do it the first time, then it becomes easier. And
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So I don't know if I answered your question, but that would be the first thing that comes to mind.
Very interesting. No, I think that's a very interesting subject. There's something that you want to do, but you have some apprehension. I think we can all relate to that.
Kavita, if I can ride a horse for 6 days in the Rockies, you can do a zip line.
I know.
And
I will.
Yeah. Deborah.
Yeah, well, since I've been a stroke survivor since the age of 37, my challenge is the activity accessible? Prior to when I had my stroke, at age 37, I was still raising a kid. I had my stroke 5 days before my son's 4th.
Frozen. Oh, we lost her. I hope we can get her back. She dropped off my screen. Can we go in the meantime to Jackie until we get her back?
Sure. I just wanted to tell Kavita that in my 50s, I'm 67 now, my daughter and I took a trip to Costa Rica.
Oh.
And she wanted to do something active. So we signed up for zip lining, and I was worried. It was one of the best things I've ever done.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah. And we did whitewater rafting, which I had always been scared of.
Yes.
And by the end, I was saying, like, where are the bigger rapids?
There you go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It was great.
That's fantastic.
I enjoyed that. But for me right now, I wanted to get back into skiing downhill. And family and friends said, oh, you should try cross country. It's so much easier on to do than downhill. Downhill's so dangerous for you now. And I wanted to recover that feeling of what I loved about downhill skiing, even in I guess the last time I was in my 40s. And so I went to a ski resort by myself and rented skis and tried it and took a lesson. I decided to take a lesson that day. And I will probably never get off the green slopes again, but I really loved it. And I know I won't be as good as I was before. But I've been doing, I put it in the notes, strength training with and for hiking with a guy in Australia who has a group, and mostly women, and most of them are around our age. But that helped me a lot to be able to have the mobility to do it.
Yeah. And
I had to reconcile myself with the fact that I'm not going to be as good as I was before. I do have that, but I can still do it.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, that's a combination of can do, but also, knowing your bones and your muscles are older. So,
yeah.
For you.
And who knows what will happen? Maybe.
Hey, there's always Olympics in another 4 years.
Right. Senior Olympics, right?
Yeah, Senior Olympics.
I think there are a lot of seniors who would put me in, who are going down. That's what I also discovered. There are a lot of seniors out there doing these things and are experts at it and are really enjoying it. So that gave me courage.
Yeah.
To see other people there.
Yes. Thank you. Wow. Eleanor, are you with us?
Yeah. I think one of the things that I wonder about is altitudes. For example, Machu Picchu is one of those great experiences, and I've never done that. But I understand that at higher altitudes, one has to get used to them and adapt, and they can be hard on people. And I'm just wondering, as I age, how that would affect me. I mean, I don't have any specific health problems, but I just, I just wonder at this point if, it's a bit too much or something.
Well, again, I mean, we've all said maybe we shouldn't make assumptions. Maybe there's a way to get information, that will advise you on the right decision.
Right. I would definitely research it to see. But it is something I kind of wonder if it's more difficult now.
Thank you.
Can I jump in here?
Yes, please.
Having been to Machu Picchu, I don't know, maybe it was about 10 years ago. And I did go for that period of my travel with an organized tour and a friend. I usually just like to go on my own. But there's medication for everything. And if that particular day you don't feel well, you take a day or two out. But you're never going to have everything figured out in advance, because situations arise. People get sick, whether they're 30 or 90. So I think the idea is to have the confidence to try new things. I know the first few days I'm out, no matter what kind of trip I'm taking on my own, I have to build up my moxie, my self-confidence. Then after a day or two, I'm right back in the groove of things, and whatever happens, happens. But yes, you do have to be safety conscious, and ask for help if you need help.
Yeah. Thanks.
Sandra. Oh, I think you're muted. I can't hear you. There we go.
The doorbell rang before, so I muted. So the question was something about being worried about going beyond your capabilities. For me, it's not capabilities. It's more going beyond desires, where I've traveled so much in my life that it's like, been there, done that. So now my desire level has gone down. I don't have to do it. So before, I don't know who said it before, I used to be, maybe I will be again after COVID, a go person and pack in 4 things in a day. Now I say, well, I could just do 2 and relax in the middle. So it's kind of opposite of what you're talking about, which is desire versus your physical capability, and kind of accepting that it's okay to be in the moment, sit still, and not push all those limits that I used to push. But one kind of answer to Eleanor about altitude sickness, which I got, and if she's anywhere near a mountain, we climbed in Hawaii, in I forget which island, where you go to the top of the mountain to see the Mauna Loa, the sunrise at 4 at the sunrise, whenever. So as we climbed the mountain and we got to a certain level, I couldn't breathe. So maybe if there's a mountain somewhere where she could drive up and see if it's going to happen to her, it's a way to test that limit. And because I've had the same thing with Machu Picchu, where I don't want to go because it happened once, and I'm not to scare anyone, but I know someone that died of a heart attack there. So yes, you have to be cautious of these things, and there has to be a way to test it or challenge it first to make sure you're physically able to do it.
Yeah,
scare you, but so that's kind of, and then the other answer is who did the advertising campaign, Just Do It. Yeah. With the things like zip lining, where you're not really physically challenging terribly anything, you just got to hold on. Pretty well hold on and fly. Yeah.
Well, you're also strapped in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Deborah,
just do it. Just do it.
Deborah, I'm sorry we lost you. I'm glad you came back. I don't know if we can pick up, but you were talking about the limitations because of all of your health.
Right, health issues.
Yeah.
Right. But prior to having my stroke and traveling with my son, I was very detailed. I had my itineraries planned out down to an hour before I left, so at the end of the day, I'd know where I'd be. But I found with time, rather than making an itinerary, I make an options list. I do a lot of research up to find out what places are accessible to me as a person with disability, that have ramps or curb cuts or whatever, that are manageable. And I will make a list of all the places that sound interesting and doable in a given area. And then, as I wake up in the morning and see what my energy level is, see what the weather is, I'll choose, I'll have like 4 or 5 must-dos while I'm in the place, but then I'll fill in with other nice to do but don't need to do.
I love that. Options list.
I make an options list. So
Brilliant.
like, when I went to Fort Myers, Florida a few years back, I wanted to do Sanibel Island. I wanted to do, watch the sunset from Fort Myers Beach. I wanted to go to the Edison Ford Museum. I wanted to go to, they have art walks on Friday nights. I wanted to do that. The other thing that I took off my list after I became even more disabled was walking tours. I will not do a walking tour because I can't keep up with a group. The only way I will schedule a quote unquote walking tour is if I rent a mobility scooter, and then I can keep up with the group. And I will only book charter tours if the bus has a wheelchair lift so I can get on and off the bus. Or a kneeling bus sometimes.
I am curious how easy or how difficult it is to research handicap accessibility. I think that's probably a big issue that I know nothing about, thankfully, but I hope that it is easy for you to get the information you need.
Right. There are some websites that are targeted to travelers with disabilities where they encourage the members to send ratings and rankings on whether the resort's claims or the city's claims are accurate about whether they're accessible. And there are some wheelchair user bloggers who blog about their trips and make posts, videos. There's one guy, Curb Free with Corey Lee, who gives his rankings, and he'll take videos where he'll take you on a tour of his ADA compliant hotel room and show you all the amenities and roll-in showers or step-in showers and things like that.
Good.
It's improving, and I think the U.S. with having the ADA law, and I think Canada was pretty compliant, and like the last international trip I went on just before the pandemic hit was French Polynesia. Good. And the thing that I was trying to save money by booking Garden View suites, but what the people booking me into the Garden View suites didn't realize was on Bora Bora, the Garden View, are up the mountainside. Resort, and they saw my situation. They gave me a free upgrade to a handicapped accessible beach bungalows.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, I know that I have limitations, both on stamina and because I have a very crooked spine, so I get a lot of back aches. I'm not a fan of long plane trips, but I have learned to break up my flights into segments. But I have 2 trips coming up, which I have some trepidation about. The one to Iceland. I've got the cold part covered. I bought so much cold weather clothing. I could go to the North Pole right now and be warm. But because I'm going for basically 3 days, I'm worried about, not enough sleep, my time clock being totally reversed, and how am I going to do stamina wise when my body wants to sleep, but it's daytime there. But I'm going to try. I'm going to see, because I want to see the things that are being offered, the Aurora Borealis, we hope, and the Blue Lagoon and the whales. So we'll see how it goes. And the other one is my trip to Africa. I've always had an African safari on my bucket list, and there's all sorts of warnings saying, be prepared for 3-hour journeys over bumpy roads. And I'm thinking, oh, can I do it? But I'm going to do it. And, if I need extra cushions or, so 16 days sleeping in tents that aren't heated, and lots of Jeep rides on bumpy roads. But I can't wait for it. I know that I'll manage, and you know, I don't want to miss it.
Love your spirit.
Thank you. Thank you.
Love it.
Oh, well, we have 5 minutes left. This has been so good. Gosh, I'm trying to think of a one-word question. Carolyn, do you have any ideas? What can we ask for as a one-word question?
Maybe a mantra, maybe something about a, you know, I'm always thinking of Marilyn, you know, with her JFDI, right? When it yeah, things that we're afraid of. But
yeah. Well, let me just what did you learn today that reinforced what you already believed, or was something new? In a quick answer, let's go with Karen.
Oh, I just learned how inspiring all of you are. I just love it. I just love being in your presence. It just makes my day a really happy one. Yeah.
How lovely. Joy.
Well, listening to Deborah, I think I'm really ashamed of myself for not signing up for my walk across England. So I think I'm probably going to do that. So thank you, Deborah.
Joanne.
Just go with your heart. Do what you want. And make it as safe as you can, but do it.
Exactly. Yes. Just do it, but be safe.
Yeah.
Mary?
Oh, I'm just inspired by all of you. So you're all an inspiration.
Thank you. And Sandra?
Go past no.
Oh, that's a lovely, lovely mantra. Go past no. Okay, Martha?
The much overused word during COVID, resilience.
Yes.
Resilience.
Resilience.
You all show that.
Yes, thank you. Kavita?
I would say that the courage that you gain on travel can be applied to life.
Yes. Jackie? Nope, muted again.
There it is. I don't know if I have one word, but I learned that everyone shares the same fears I have. And I love hearing how, so it's overcome your fears with support.
Yes.
I'm listening to how people overcome those is very inspiring to me.
Good, thank you. Eleanor?
Keep going despite the fears.
Yeah.
Keep going wisely. Very inspiring.
Exactly.
Thank you.
And Deborah?
I use a mnemonic, 4-letter formula. RAIN stands for resilience, attitude, intuition, and networking. They will overcome any challenge, any adversity in your
Can you say that again so I can write it down?
Yes, it's RAIN, resilience, attitude, intuition, your gut checks, and networking.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. So
you.
the attitude is not the Pollyanna, positive, happy. It's the I got this. I can do it.
Yes.
And if I can't do it on my own, I use the networking to reach out to people who can help me. And that's all what JourneyWoman is all about.
Yes. What a wonderful way to end this session, really. Thank you so much, everybody, for making my job easy. And thank you, Mary. Carolyn, I'll turn it back to you to sign us all off.
Sure. Well, we say take the first step, because sometimes that's all you need to do is just do one small step forward, and whatever makes you comfortable. I might often see that in some of our stories. I wanted to mention that we have I'm doing an Instagram Live tomorrow with Tina Hartis from Trip Fiction, who's our partner with our book club. and some of you come to our book club. So we have a really beautiful book, All My Mothers, that we're doing this Wednesday, which is about Cordoba, Spain. And so, which made me cry about 5 times. I don't know if you've read it, but, and I'm speaking with Joanna Glenn, the author, on Monday. So I'm super excited about that. But anyways, Tina and I are going to do a little get together tomorrow at noon on our Instagram, if you want to check it out, and talk about books, which is one of my favorite topics. And then we have our book club meeting next Wednesday night. So if you're free and want to talk about Spain, which is one of my favorite countries, feel free to join us at 8:00 Eastern.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diana, for being such a wonderful host.
Thank you, Diana.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Our next call is a week. It's the 24th, I think, Thursday, and Marilee Carroll is going to host that one. So hope to see you all there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy trails.
Bye.